All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's up, Colts Nation? Hope you're all having a great day today. So today we're doing things a little bit differently, as you can see. Today you got just me, RC, aka Colts Loyalist. Now listen, guys, before we get into things, if you could, please smash that like button. Hit the subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And most importantly, make sure that you ring the notification bell. So that way you're notified anytime that we drop any new content here on Colts Law. And like I said, today with us doing this new format, if you could, take an extra minute after the video and everything, get in the comments, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of today's video. And also, if you've got a moment, if you could, share it, whether it's through Reddit, Twitter, any of the other social media platforms. If you could share it, that really helps us get our word out to other people and helps the channel grow. And it would be greatly appreciated. So now that we got all that away, let's get into it. Let's talk some defense. And actually, more specifically, let's talk about the DBs. And no, I'm not talking about Honey Badger or Stephon Gilmore or James Bradbury. You get the point. I'm not talking about any of the litany of names that have been associated to the Colts over the past several weeks. No, I want to talk about the more important DBs. You know, the ones that are part of the roster that are actually on the Colts team. Yeah, let's talk about those guys. Because, you know, you sit there and you hear about the Gus Bradley defense and you hear about how it's going to be more aggressive at the line of scrimmage, which I loved hearing. You know, you hear about how the defense is going to still be based around that dog mentality, that hustle to the ball, you know, but it's also going to be better disguised, you know what I mean? And it's going to have a hybrid of the zone slash, you know, man coverage mixed in there and stuff. And these were all some interesting ideas that I hear, and I'm like, wow, I really like the thought of that, you know, but I'm just not sure what it's going to look like with this particular roster. And I'll be honest, this room is probably the room, defensively speaking, that gives me the most concern. But it's also the room that I feel like has the much wider spectrum of growth. You know, I mean, you look at the linebackers, these guys are, I mean, they're going to still grow as you evolve as a player, but I mean, you're not having that first, second year guy that's going to have that massive leap like, you know, a la Rock did last year, you know. So like I said, this room to me is extraordinarily interesting because there's just so many pieces to this puzzle, and I can't wait to see how these guys put it together. I mean, even when we talk about the Gus Bradley scheme and you ask yourself, who's coaching these guys, you know? Well, you look at Ron Milus, you know, 32 years of experience. More importantly, he's a quote Gus Bradley guy, you know. He's been in the lab with Gus, you know, building this scheme and tweaking it and fixing it, you know. So the thing is these are going to be the guys that, if you're going to have a room that you have some questions at, this is the guys that you want leading that room, you know, because like I said, these are basically the guys who understand the pulse of this defense and what they want to see and stuff. And you have these young talented players that are still finding their way through the league, you know, and stuff, and you get to mold them into that vision that you hope to see from them. And I really think that we're going to find throughout the year, and hopefully in the years to come, that this defense is going to be enjoyable to watch. It's going to be able to get off the field. It's not going to be those long 12, 13 play drives that just suck your will to live, you know what I mean? But okay, and let's not forget also Mike Mitchell. You know, you sit there and you talk about a guy who's been there, done that. I mean, Mitchell's played in the league for many years. You know, he was a player's, you know, like a player slash coach, you know, in his year with the Colts and stuff. And you heard the same thing about him at his time there in Pittsburgh. So I'm really interested to see how this all works. But as far as the guys that are on the field, you look at it, and I'm going to look at it this way, you know. I understand our base defense is 2 corners, 2 safeties, but I'm going to look at 3 corners and 2 safeties as far as, you know, because that's what we're in a lot of the time. So as far as looking at starters and stuff, you know, So you first off, you look at Kenny Moore. I mean, Kenny Moore's the man. Okay, he understands the Colts way. He really has stepped up as far as being that face of the organization. Good gracious, Walter Payton Man of the Year for the Colts. Almost for the entire league. He's really stepped up both outside the playing field, but also on the field, because Kenny Moore has really proven to be that rock, to be that guy that you can rely on whenever the team needs a play, to be that guy that if you have any questions, hey Kenny, where do I need to be? Kenny Moore is like, oh, I got you, man, and like I said, I don't think Kenny's a finished product, but I would say when you look at the other members in the DB room, I would say he's the closest one to it. But like I said, there's still areas that I'd like to see a little more consistency. I mean, last year we seen Kenny had a rough start, and then he tapered off there at the end. I'd like to see that middle of the season where he played, ridiculously well. I would like to see more of that, just more steady throughout the year. But there again, I trust in Kenny, and I really do think that he'll be able to do that quite well. And then you look at Brandon Faison, I don't know a lot about outside of, he is a Gus Bradley guy that they liked him last year when he was with the Raiders, that he gotten, a lot of starting reps, But I just like the fact that there is a guy who's already been in this scheme who can sit there and communicate on the field to Kenny. And these guys can sort of work and cultivate their communication and get a better idea of where to be and when to be there and what your keys are and stuff. So I like that aspect of it. He's still young. He fits in the time frame with the defense and stuff. And then you got Isaiah Rodgers. I mean, this dude's just like my guy Pat McAfee always says, this kid is electric. I mean, anytime he's on the field, you just know that he's got that opportunity, if given the chance, to make an interception. And once he makes the interception, it's not a done deal. He may take the thing to the house. I just really like what he brings. I'd like to see him be a little more aggressive at the point of attack to the ball. I'd like to see him, fight through those receivers' hands a little more aggressively. But let's be honest, he's only got 2 years under his belt. This is his third year. I mean, if he could have that growth that we saw last year from Rock, if he could go something of that nature to have that big jump, oh man, I'm telling you right now, that could be a very, very pivotal piece to this puzzle as far as what helps take this defense from a good to top 10 to hopefully great, or God willing, even elite type of defense. And I'm not being too much of a homer when I say that there are some pieces here that get me excited, that I can see fitting in and being that sort of aggressive, fast moving, rushing to the ball, good big turnovers, but also getting off the field. It's not going to be as easy to have those long sustained drives against this defense. So like I said, those guys really intrigue me. And then you sit there and you look in the safety room and you've got, Khari Willis, and you got Julian Blackmon, and Khari Willis, I'd like to see him get, still, and he's another guy, still on his rookie contract, still really fits in the timeline with the Colts defense. I like what he presents as far as leadership on the field. I like what he presents to the run game. I still like to see him elevate his coverage, out on the field, but I understand that, you want everybody to be a completely rounded player, but like I said, I can see him being a good starter. Or, who knows, maybe there's somebody back there, because there's a lot. I mean, if he's looking over his shoulder, he's going to see a lot of hungry mouths trying to get some of those playing reps. You know what I mean? So I'm really interested to see how he evolves and where he takes his game this year. And then Julian Blackmon. My goodness, if he could overcome that weakness that he has, and that's, the ability of availability, if he can overcome that and stay healthy, this is another, like I said, just a dynamic, game-changing type player. I love the energy that he brings to the field. I love, he's sort of the Darius Leonard in the secondary. He's the more loud and energetic type of player. And when they're both on the field together, it is awesome. So you sit there and you look at these five guys, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can see where this goes. But to me, Isaiah Rodgers, I'd still like to see more. I mean, like I said, last year he really got a bigger opportunity and he took advantage of it. So I'd like to see more. Brandon Faison, I'm not real sure what to expect. Haven't seen a whole lot of him on the Raiders. But what I have seen, it's like, okay, I like what I see. I just want to see, can it be replicated here in Indianapolis? So like I said, there's a lot of intriguing pieces. I just can't wait to see what this all ends up shaping up to be. And like I said, you look over your back, you got, Armani Watts, you got Marvell Tell III, you got Anthony Chesley, you got Chris Wilcox, Will Redmond, Alexander Mirez, Tony Brown. There is a lot of people already under contract, whether it's futures contract or whatever, that are just sitting there waiting for their opportunity. Who knows? Maybe one of these guys really explode on the scene. It's going to be a very good time to see, what actually ends up happening, because, Marvell Tell, since he missed that year of COVID last year, was sort of his first year back, and he just didn't acclimate like I'd hoped that he would. But like I said, this is that pivotal year for him. This is that leap year that you hope that he can take, because he's a physical specimen. Anthony Chesley, I don't know if you guys remember when we were talking about him quite a bit in training camp and stuff. This kid he's a playmaker. He's a thumper. He'll get out there and he'll make himself be known. Is he a starter? I don't know. Soon to be seen. Does this scheme help? Does it fit him playing style better? I don't know. I'm just telling you right now, I'm really looking forward to see it. Now, does this mean that I'm not with a lot of the Colts Nation? Yeah, I'd like to see a little more depth added to it. I hate putting this out in the universe, but do you remember a few years ago when Kenny Moore went down, and then we were like, oh no, who's going to fill the slot cornerback? I don't see that guy. I don't see a T.J. Carey, who could fill in and be more than just serviceable at the position, but be successful. I don't know if we have that guy on the roster right now. Would I like to see some of the starters, the Isaiah Rodgers and the Brandon Faison have some competition? Absolutely. Like I said, this room, I would love to see that competition. That really, true competition, not the oh yeah, we just got another body in here to fill, for training camp. No, really pushing the guys to elevate their level, of play to, what's that, iron sharpens iron. I'm really intrigued to see what happens with that. Another aspect to this DB room that I really like when you look at is you look at your starters. You look at your Kenny Moores, you look at your Isaiah Rodgers, your Julian Blackmon, Khari Willis, Brandon Faison. These guys are all special teamers. And then you look back in the wings, you see Armani Watts has had a lot of experience playing special teams. And you may ask, well, what's that a big deal for? Well, do you guys remember last year whenever we looked at the D-line and there was like 11, 12 D linemen? But the thing was there was this competition that they didn't find the resolution to, but it allowed them to offer up an extra spot because they could play special teams. They had added value to the team. Do you remember how Marlon Mack, he didn't make on the field very much because he didn't play special teams? Now, I'm not sitting there saying that, me, ideally, I would like to get a Julian Blackmon off of special teams. And the Colts have started doing that. You can see that. But because, with the injury history, I would like to sit there and see him put himself at risk. But like I said, that added value to special teams is massive. We know how important it is to the Colts. And if we can offer another roster spot because they can play special teams, that's another dart at that proverbial dartboard that Chris Ballard refers to, as far as finding that, maybe you've got two corners that one gives you a certain characteristic or aspect of the game and the other one provides a different nuance to the game. Well, now if you make that extra spot, as long as they can produce on special teams, now you're not beholden to, oh, okay, this guy's going to have to be a healthy scratch. No. Now you can figure out what the defense needs more for that week, and then you can decide who's in and who's out, And like I said, I do not think that this is a finished product room. I do believe that Chris Ballard, whether it's through the draft or whether it's through, a trade or free agency, I do believe that he will still be scouring. But the thing is this is when Chris Ballard does his best work. This is where, once all the glitz and glitter of the first week of free agency, this is when Colts Nation, me personally, I expect this is when Ballard starts filling those holes. But he fills those holes not just with heartbeats, but he fills those holes with a good quality piece to offer some value to the team. So like I said, this year, man, I'll tell you right now, this defense has an opportunity to be something really special. And I think that this DB room can really be a massive part because, like I said, you look at all these young, talented players that are just really starting to become and evolve into who they're going to be in the NFL. And I'm telling you right now, I am here for it. On behalf of Lawrence, Owen, and myself, I would like to say thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated that you take time to watch these videos. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please smash that like button. Hit the subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And don't forget to ring that notification bell. And then if you could, whatever social media platform, whether it's Reddit, Twitter, whatever you're most comfortable with, if you could just share it with other people and let them know that we're here. That way it'll help this channel grow. It'd go a long ways. And like I said, it is greatly appreciated. And on behalf of Lawrence, Owen, and myself, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.